Welcome to Gold and Blue, everybody, home of the college football fan. And don't forget about the checklist. Hat check, sunglasses check, Pepsi check, notes check, sources check, and thick skin is a check. And don't forget to send gear to represent your team and yourself in my background. Send it to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina, 29657, and get yourself a shout out. On to the next video. In case you're wondering, these are the teams that we don't have represented for the mini helmets. As you can see, we actually have quite a few big brands that's not represented here at Gold and Blue. I do know that Nevada and Cincinnati are on their way as far as mini helmet representation. So get your team represented here on Gold and Blue. We're about to hit 13,000 subscribers. Quick reminder, now that we're about to hit 13,000 subscribers, we will be doing another We Are Gold and Blued / I Am Gold and Blued mashup video. All you have to do is send a 5 or 10 second clip to my email, refsuck@gmail.com. I'll leave my email address in the description of this video. Wear gear that represents your team. Don't wear West Virginia if you're not a West Virginia fan. And all you have to say is, I am Gold and Blued or we are Gold and Blued if multiple people are in the video. Last year we did one and it was a great success. I might try to look up that video and leave the link of that video in the description of this video so you can check it out and see what I'm talking about. Hey, you already know what time it is, so might as well sit down, brace yourself, and buckle up because you are entering the speculation zone. Yes, this will be a Get It Gang video. If you don't know what the Get It Gang is, it's basically a name that I came up with for a group of people that come up with video ideas and leave it in the comment section of my videos. So if you think you have a good video idea, just leave it in the comment section of my video and I just might use it in my next video. You know, I wish I had good news for the Pac-12, especially Pac-12 fans. They have some good fans out there, but I'm sorry. I don't have good news for you. I really don't. It's come down to this. The Pac-12 now has two choices, but both of them are bad. The first choice is get paid on a linear cable deal, ESPN, but well below the market price. The second thing is go 100% streaming and make it super difficult for people to find you, so your viewership will go down. You will get paid more per team per year, but you're not going to get the viewership. That's not a good choice to have. Those two choices are both bad. Because you have to remember, the Pac-12 does not have any TV deal past June of 2024. That's it. They have one more season of a TV deal. After that, they're going to be playing football for free. Jason Shear is reporting the Oregon State and ASU, Arizona State AD, have both said there is no deal currently on the table. So step number one still hasn't been completed. And we've heard about the stories. It started out as they had a decent TV deal with ESPN. It was being reported $35 million per team per year. Then Amazon stepped in. They were going to get tier 1 rights, ESPN tier 2, tier 3. But the deal was going to be worth $25 million per team per year. Then ESPN pulled their offer because Disney was cutting jobs. So the new offer was a total of $20 million per team per year. Then we heard it was Apple. They were being considered as a partner. Then Brett McMurphy said that Apple never even offered, which according to Jason Shear, that's actually correct because there's still no TV deal on the table. But Brett McMurphy said that they're talking to Ion Television. But a lot of people said, no, we've talked to Ion Television and they haven't even talked to Pac-12. So it is a fact. The Pac-12 does not have a TV deal on the table. Then we started hearing about the Pac-12 thinking about merging with the ACC. If that were the case, then the Pac-12 would not be accepting SMU and San Diego State because the ACC would be like, that's just two more mouths to feed. Do not bring them in. And on top of that, more recently, I'm hearing that the Pac-12 is revisiting the possibility of unequal revenue share. Perhaps the Florida State athletic director and the Clemson athletic director talking about possible unequal revenue share in the ACC sparked up the talks about unequal revenue share in the Pac-12 as well. Altogether, this is a bad situation. First Get It Gang video idea, well, it's more of a comment and a remark about what I'm talking about. Henry Moore saying, has the Pac-12 reached out to the shopping channel for a deal yet? These are the type of comments that I'm seeing because of the Pac-12. The Pac-12 has become a running joke right now, not just on Gold and Blue, but the entire nation. Next one is from Robert Moffett. Pac Football, presented by the Hallmark Channel. On one of the message boards, I saw this from Big Ten Football 3-6-6 AN ... George K is running out of time to get a TV deal done. If no TV deal is in the next week, it's expected Pac-12 schools will start to find new homes. Even in the Athletic article yesterday, it used words to indicate issues. Well, both in the article and Sports Illustrated, though, two sports news outlets are saying similar things about, if they don't get it done now, then teams will start jumping. On top of that, Pac-12 fans themselves are not reacting to this very well. Not at all. These are all comments not on Gold and Blued, but in other outlets from Pac-12 fans taking a jab at the Pac-12 because of the situation. The first one is from Robert Sherman. Pac-12 announces new media deal with the channel on the TVs at the gas station. College sports is a local experience, and while supporters of other leagues watch game at home, fans of the Conference of Champions can gather around the pump to cheer on their favorite teams. Wow. We know that would never happen, but this is the mindset of Pac-12 fans. Another one is from Albert Valdez IV. Pac-12 After Dark on Comedy Central is going to hit different. Barrett Solis says the Pac-12 could renew Versus. There you go. And Hector Diaz says, the new network for the Pac-12. And he's showing a graphic of Game Boy Advance video. Wow. So Pac-12 fans are losing hope. And now they're making jokes about it. That's when you can tell people start losing hope. They're not defending it anymore or saying, no, the Pac-12 is going to be fine. They're starting to make jokes about it. And this is not good at all. I don't know how this happened other than George Kliavkoff making terrible decisions, thinking that he was going to have a bidding war between Fox, ESPN, CBS, NBC, whoever else to get the highest bidder. Nobody's bidding on the Pac-12, and they are scrambling to get a TV deal. But as of right now, there is no TV deal. What if that comment is correct? If there's no TV deal by next week, I'm not saying it is correct, but what if it is correct? No TV deal by next week, teams start jumping. What if the Four Corners really are talking to the Big 12 and they're just waiting for this TV deal? Still no TV deal, off to the Big 12 they go. We know Oregon and Washington want to go to the Big 10. We also know that Stanford and Cal are also a possibility to go to the Big 10. Do they actually consider jumping to the Big 12 first to get out soon as a temporary home? Because remember, even though they really don't want to be in the Big 12, if the Pac-12 doesn't have any TV deal, at least they're getting paid in the Big 12. I'm telling you, all these possibilities are actually looking more and more likely as each day goes by. Listen, if I'm the Pac-12, if I had a TV deal, I'm seeing all the negative publicity, especially your own fans coming out and making fun of you. I would be laying it out. Hey, we do have a TV deal. Here's how much it's worth, and here's who we're going through. But no, we're not seeing anything, which tells me there really is no TV deal. This is bad news for the Pac-12. Every day that goes by is another day the Pac-12 stock drops lower and lower and lower. Are they really adding San Diego State and SMU? We heard several weeks ago that they were. And I saw prominent news sources saying, yes, they are adding San Diego State and SMU. Still no announcement. If you're adding those two teams, wouldn't you announce it by now, especially if everybody already knows about it? The Pac-12 is in for real trouble, and I do not expect them to last past their current TV deal. I'm talking about the Pac-12 as we know it. They might survive as a conference and backfill with Mountain West teams, but the Pac-12 as we know it is over. It's done. Now, I don't think it's going to happen all at once. I think it's going to happen in stages just like everything else. They could lose Oregon and Washington first, then add teams to help replace those, then lose the Four Corners to the Big 12, then add teams to help replace those, and then lose Stanford and Cal to the Big 10 and add teams to replace those teams. So I do think that Oregon, Washington, Cal, and Stanford will head to the Big 10. I think Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado will head to the Big 12. That leaves Oregon State and Washington State. I think the Pac-12 will backfill from the Mountain West. I think they'll grab Boise State, San Diego State, and Fresno State, and they'll also add teams out of the AAC. I think they get SMU, Rice, and Tulane. That is going to be your future Pac-12 right there. Nothing like what it looks right now. Can the Pac-12 retain Power 5 status with those brands? I don't think so. I think the NCAA will remove that Autonomous 5 or Power 5 status, and the Pac-12 will no longer be a Power 5 conference once the dust settles. I think they will continue to exist, but they will not be a Power 5 conference. No TV deal. These teams will start bolting, and Pac-12 will lose relevancy and will go down in credibility. This is awful news. And you know what? I'm not against the Pac-12. I actually like the Pac-12. I miss the Pac-12 being in the playoffs. They haven't been in the playoffs in like 7-8 years, something like that. I remember in the early 2000s when USC was dominating college football. It was awesome to see the West represented in the national championship game. We haven't seen that in a very long time. The Pac-12 has become irrelevant. USC and UCLA saw the writing on the wall. They jumped to the Big 10. And Washington and Oregon are actively trying to get into the Big 10. The Big 10 turned them down. Eventually, I do think they will end up in the Big 10 along with Cal and Stanford. So what can the Pac-12 do to keep those teams from jumping? Get a decent TV deal. That is the only option. So if they can't do that, the Pac-12 is doomed. It's stamped. There's no way around it. George Kliavkoff has effectively killed the Pac-12. So y'all let me know in the comment section. Number one, which one of these choices do you think the Pac-12 will get? Do you think they get a very bad linear cable TV deal? Or do you think they go to streaming? And that's if they get a TV deal at all. The second thing is if the Pac-12 doesn't have a TV deal by next week, like this one person said, Do you think teams start jumping immediately? Finally, last question is, where do you think the destinations of each of these teams are ultimately going to be? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.